Yeah, really. I mean, it wasn't really a light bulb moment per se, where it was just like, oh, this is it. It was really the totality of last year, from the moment we got here with the guys to the me being introduced to the type of people that they wanted to bring in, the standards that they were setting. It was just a place that I fell in love with the process that they were setting every day, and so throughout the whole season, I just had so much fun. I said it multiple times. Just how much I enjoyed the season last year. Obviously, we didn't end it how we wanted to, but just the day-to-day experience was so enjoyable for me and my family being out here. And so for me, when the season ended, and obviously there's some uncertainty, but for me, there wasn't in my mind a ton of uncertainty that I wasn't going to be back here. Just because I wanted to make it work. It didn't. I'm not at the point in my career where the quote unquote the financial side is the most important to me right now. I've been blessed. I've been able to just be around amazing people and play a long time. So for me, it was just about being in the right situation. And this situation is by far the best situation that I wanted to be in, and just playing with Jaden again. Obviously, DQ, Cliff, the culture that AP is setting. I just needed to be a part of it again. That was the bottom line.
And expectations coming in. Obviously, you were last year going to a new squad. You knew Cliff, but at what point did you just go, man, this place is just like lit. They just have they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, just the energy is different here. I mean, I will say that for sure. The buildings that I've been in, this building in terms of energy and the juice that is brought by everyone in the building, not just the players, but by the coaches in particular. Like I walk in the building today, and all the coaches are lined up welcoming me into the building again. And so it's just different. It really feels like a family. You know, that cliche gets thrown around so much in our business. But I would say that this place really does feel like a family because people truly do care about other people's success. And I think that is something that is rare in the NFL.
Thank you. Time. Hey Zach, did anything surprise you about whether what you saw from Jaden last year or even from yourself at all?
I don't think surprise is the right word. I think just how we were able to grow throughout the season was something that I really enjoyed. I mean, you see our film just speaking between the two of us, like you said, between Jaden and I, during the offseason, I think there was kind of an instant chemistry that people realized between us. But there's a difference between the offseason and going into the games. And I think as you saw the season progress last year, just our comfort level with each other, how we were both seeing the game, how much he was trusting me in the big moments, and the timing that we were able to establish later in the year was really just some of the best that I've been around. His anticipation on throws, his trust in me in some of the throws, especially down in the red zone, I think really just took it up a level in the second half of the season and into the playoffs. And so I feel like that's just something that we got to continue to build on, something that I feel like we're both excited to build on. And obviously adding a guy like Debo is going to make all of our jobs a lot easier. If not arguably the best left tackle in the league is going to make our job a lot easier. So from our perspective, we feel like we were just scratching the surface last year. I think if you look at the last 5 games, that's kind of when we really took that next step. And so we're looking forward to just continue to do it and just ultimately, at this point in my career, finding ways to win football games. It's not about the catches, the yards, the touchdowns. It's about finding ways to win football games and hopefully being more successful this year than we were last year.
And how can you guys develop from year 1 to year 2 with that chemistry? Where can you take this?
I mean, I think this time last year, obviously, he wasn't even on the team yet, so we hadn't even experienced all the stuff that we have banked in the bank now. All the reps that we've had together, all the looks we've seen, how defenses are going to be playing him. We are so much further along from a Commander's offense perspective right now than we were at this time last year. And we can't just assume that because of the success we had last year, we're going to have success this year. I think the key message is that nothing really at the end of the day last year matters going into this year. And every day we got to come in and work even harder than we did last year. We just have to be better in all facets of the game, offense, defense, special teams, to get to where we want to be again, because there is no, the Commanders are picked 30th in the NFL, knowing they're a nobody team. They're a flash in the pan. And so this year, everyone's going to get our best shot. We're going to get everyone's best shot. And so it's up to us to go out there and execute at a high level every game.
Hey, Zach, congrats on the deal.
Thank you.
Your connection initially to coming to this organization was Cliff, and he's obviously staying. What does that mean for you and the offense for him to stay, and how important was that as your whatever decision you were making this offseason?
Yeah, it's very important. Obviously, Cliff is the offensive coordinator and play caller. So for us, it's just an opportunity to be in the same system again. And from my time in Arizona, going from that first year to the second year, you're just understanding of the game, of the playbook. Your understanding of the little details is just grows so rapidly in that second year, I would say. And so for us as an offense, we're not going to be starting in the rudimentary stuff when we get back here for the offseason program. Obviously, we're going to have to introduce it in a way because there's going to be a lot of new guys coming in. But for a guy like Jaden, we're not going to be on that day one install for multiple weeks just to get everyone comfortable, especially the quarterback comfortable. And so for us, there's just so many ways for us to improve. We got to be the hardest on ourselves. And Cliff is one of the best offensive coaches I've been around, and so I think it was huge for him to be back here.
And you mentioned there'll be new guys coming in. One room looking like it's going to be the same as your room. You're back, and John Bates. How nice is it that John is also back with you?
Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal. I loved the tight end room that we had last year. Honestly, it was probably from top to bottom the most complete tight end room that I've ever been a part of. John doesn't get the probably national recognition that he deserves in terms of what he does on a every play basis for us last year. But he's probably the most dominant blocking tight end I've really ever seen and studied in my career. The guy, he's just dominant at the line of scrimmage. What he does, there's not many guys walking the earth that can do what John Bates does. And so I was ecstatic. I knew he was going to have the opportunity to make a lot of money, and I'm just glad it's here in Washington. And he's just, from a person standpoint, from a player standpoint, I just feel like we are so complimentary of one another. And we have an amazing tight end coach and Coach Rye that pushes us to be better every day. And Ben Sinnott's going to be a really good player in this league for a long time. And so to have all three of us back is fun. Everyone knows each other. There's no feeling out. Everyone understands everyone's personalities. And it's a very competitive room.
David Aldridge.
Hey, Zach. Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you.
Every season's going to be different. The room's going to be different next year just because that's football.
Yep.
I wonder for the guys like yourself that are coming back, what are the messages that you are going to push forward to the new guys coming into the room to let them understand how y'all get down, as Dan likes to say, and how you guys handle business?
Yeah, I think from when you step on that practice field and see the way guys practice, and me and Bobby practice, I would say, we take pride in the way we practice. We take pride in the intensity that we practice with. And so from a messaging standpoint to getting guys to buy in, we had last year, everybody on the team was like that. Guys love to practice. Guys love the process. And so I feel like AP and DQ were very deliberate, and I'm sure they're still being very deliberate in the type of people that they are bringing into this building, the type of people that just want to work and exhaust themselves on being the best version of themselves. And then for the guys that are coming back, I think the messaging is very simple as well, that we had about, 5 games in a row, 6 games in a row that came down to the last play. And so if a couple of those games didn't go our way, we're looking at a very different season. We're a 5th seed or a 6th seed versus or a 7th seed. And so just because we ended up, our record was 12-5 and we were phenomenal in those situations, we can't just say, oh, we were a 12-5 team, we were the second best team in the NFC. We have to get better, and that's just the bottom line. We can't say we're 12-5 and be complacent in the way we approach the process. We have to get better as a football team, and I know that everyone has that mentality. We came up short. There's only one team that was happy last year, and so I know we got a bunch of guys that are hungry and ready to get back to work.
And you mentioned the things that they did to improve the team, and I just wonder what it means to you as a vet that even though AP wants to build through the draft and values draft picks, that they're willing to push draft picks to the middle of the table to go bring in blue chip players. Let's put it that way. I don't know if you can mention them officially yet.
Yeah.
Just blue chip players. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, a guy like me, a guy that doesn't. I think I have a few more years left in me. Draft picks are fun, you know. You love to find a guy like Jaden or Mikey or Johnny or some of these other guys, these impact guys, but oftentimes they do take a few years to develop. And so for a guy that wants to win now, just like everyone else in this building, sometimes it is a little bit of a shortcut to go get a proven commodity. And a guy a couple of those guys that are really, really, really good football players, and that help our team immediately. And there is no guessing or projection in that regard. So it's just an exciting time to be a Commander. It's an exciting time to be a Commanders fan because we're doing everything we can to be the team we want to be, and I'm doing everything I can to be the player that I want to be, and AP is doing the same thing with the team. And so they got a bunch of people in this organization, amazing people that are doing everything they can to make our area proud, the DMV proud. And so for us, it's going to be a fun year.
Last one, Candy.
Good morning, Zach, and welcome back.
Thank you.
So, forgive me if I missed this question because I jumped on as you were responding to Chick. But when was the moment you knew you wanted to be a Commander?
Well, last year was when I initially. Yeah.
But when you
After the season over, like what do the game ended maybe at 6:00 in Philly, the last game. So 6:01 maybe was when I knew I wanted to be back. To me, it was just a situation where it really was a no-brainer. There was no situation where I wanted to go somewhere else. I was very clear with my agent. I was very clear with AP and DQ after the season. So they waited longer than I would have liked, not vice versa. And so for me, it was just I loved being here. I love playing with Jaden. I love playing for DQ and Cliff and Coach Rai. And I love the guys that are here. And so for me, it was never a question of where I would be going into this year in 2025. It was just when it was going to be official.